Imagine a world where the iconic pictures that shaped music history, Patti Smith in her prime, Hendrix at Woodstock, or David Bowie's last gig at Hammersmith Odeon, were simply erased after a year. Not lost, but taken, claimed as property by the artists to control and monetize. This is the model favoured by Oasis. On their reunion tour, every shot will disappear from public use after 12 months. Not to protect art, but to cynically extract every last penny. Just because they can doesn't mean they should. Fred and I couldn't do this channel if I'd been forced to sign away the rights to my pictures when I started all those years ago. Back then, at the NME, before you got to make the fancy portraits, you shot live gigs. It was a way of testing you. It was exhilarating. On my first trip to the US, I remember saying to the journalist, I couldn't believe it. I was on the plane with the writer Stuart Bailey. He was older and more experienced than me. I was probably annoying him. I said, I can't believe we're being paid to do this. It was chaotic, sometimes stressful, and very poorly remunerated. £25 to cover your expenses, and then an additional sum that was related to the size the photograph was reproduced on the page. Usually, in my case, around £75. But you didn't do it for the money. You did it because you loved music. You wanted to be in the room where it happened. And also, for me, the people I got to photograph made compelling subjects for the portfolio that I was attempting to put together. For most editorial photographers, the economics have always been precarious. And in the last 30 odd years, things have only gotten worse. A small plus point that made the profession viable was ownership of our work and the ability to license it years after the shutter clicked. That's what makes Oasis's move on their reunion tour so galling. The band's management has told photographers they can use the pictures from these gigs for just 1 year. After that, the rights become property of Oasis, and the images can, if they so deem, effectively disappear from editorial use. This isn't how it's supposed to work. Historically, photographers retained ownership of their work in perpetuity. That's why we have decades of live music photography that still resonates. From a huge reservoir of images taken, certain pictures become iconic and special. Not at the diktat of the subjects, but by aesthetic market forces. Those photographs become the visual history of popular culture. To strip photographers of their rights after 12 months, it's not only exploitative, it's culturally destructive. Meanwhile, Oasis are hardly in need of the extra income. This tour is projected to gross close to £1 billion globally, with the brothers pocketing tens of millions of pounds each. You've got merchandising, ticket sales, sponsorships. There's lots and lots of revenue streams. Do they really need to rinse every last penny out of their fellow creatives already working on shoestring budgets? There's also an irony here too. The comeback shows open with a montage of press clippings which chart the band's rise. Those very same headlines and photographs that built the mythology of Oasis. Now, having benefited from that exposure, they're attempting to pull up the ladder. This is not about protecting artistic integrity. It's about control. And it sets a dangerous precedent. If a band of this stature can use strong-arm tactics like this, others will surely follow. Soon photographers will be treated as disposable, paid a pittance for the privilege of shooting, with no prospect of ever owning and licensing their work again. To quote Grant Scott, Photography is memory made history. It's also a vital part of our cultural record. It deserves to be treated with respect, not just another revenue stream to be captured and commodified. Since 1988 and the Design and Copyright Patent Act, if you write a book, compose music, or create a computer game with code, you own whatever it was that you made. Unless, of course, you sign a contract. That thing you created is yours. To me, that feels right. It feels fair, and it ensures the creative and talented are rewarded. I'm sure when Noel was a hungry 21-year-old roadie with a notebook full of songs, he'd have seen this for what it is. But success maybe changes people. Don't sign these contracts. And you can watch our Kylie Minogue video to see what happens, as I did. You can see what happened to me when I did.